Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of NC-17. Today we have with us a phenomenal actress. I've seen her in quite a few movies. Uh, we got Kay Leahy. Leahy? I'm
Leahy.
Leahy. I'm sorry. I just asked you like
It's
5 seconds
okay.
ago. I am so sorry.
Totally fine.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm pretty good, pretty good. Uh, so before we get into the films, if you want to give a kind of just a background on what got you into movies and was it something you wanted to do as a child?
It was actually. Of course, when I was a small child, it was like, oh, I want to work with animals. I want to be a vet. I originally wanted to be like a police officer that worked with the canine unit or like with the horses because I thought it was really cool. And then when I got old enough to realized that the people that I saw on TV got paid to do what they did. It was a career. I wasn't watching real people. I was like, okay, no, that's what I want to do for a living. And I think I was maybe 8 or 9 when I had that realization. And um, I looked at my grandmother, who I lived with at the time, and I lived with my parents and my grandparents. And I said, I really want to get into acting. I want to do film acting, specifically film. And so my grandmother found a little child theater nearby, and um, I was taking piano lessons from, she was a piano teacher and a voice teacher. And the only theater that was nearby only did musicals. So I had to audition with a song and acting. And um, I kind of listened to a couple of singers, and my grandmother was taking voice lessons at the time. So I kind of listened to her voice lessons. And she goes, take a song, the song you're planning on singing, to our teacher and see if she has any tips. And by the end of my, I don't know, 1.5 minute little ditty, um, she had her hands like this and she goes, I have to teach that voice.
All right.
I have to teach that voice. So I actually started as a singer. Um, and I didn't get into that first musical, but I did get into the second one. And then I went on to get 3 college degrees in singing. And with the still the goal of being a film actor. I was sitting here singing opera going, when can I audition for Hollywood? You know? And so like after I got out of school and it was great and I did a few musicals local, um, actually by my current 9 to 5 job, like boss, who was like, hey, my kids are in theater. We support the arts. This is an audition coming up. She got me my in here, which actually led to my film contacts, which was great. But like I kind of just like I looked at it, I was like, this is not what I want to do. Like I love singing. I love singing, but I got into singing so I could act. So, and now I'm actually doing acting. I got into acting, film acting, started auditioning 2017, 2018, and I've been doing that since.
All right. All right. When you got your first acting role, what was your first initial thought?
Well, I think my first acting role ever or my first film role.
Film role.
Okay. Um, it was an extra role. And um I actually met a bunch of people I still have contacts with today who we still throw auditions each other's ways. But it was an extra role and it took me 5 minutes of sitting in the waiting room ready for my number to be called to go be an extra. And I was like, dude, even though I don't like driving in DC, I don't like having to be up at 4 in the morning or whatever. This is what I want to do. Like it didn't take me long to realize like this is even background. This is awesome. This is what I want to do. It did not take long.
Uh, So I know you've done some TV movies, some shows, and some shorts, but I also know we'll get to the ones I've seen. We're going to talk about one right now. Bloody Summer Camp. You played Bobby.
Tiffany.
Tiffany, I'm sorry.
That's
It's
okay.
been, it's been a long day. You played Tiffany. I'm so sorry.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's okay.
it's
Tiffany
been a
Clark. I came
yes.
up with her last name and her backstory, and they
All right,
ended up
so
using all that.
I'm sorry.
That's
It's been a long
okay.
day.
I
Any,
have played Bobby as well, so just
yeah.
not a
Uh,
BSC.
so playing Tiffany,
hmm
getting into that character, what did you kind of draw as inspiration?
Actually myself. Um, because like when I read the script, I was like, no, Tiffany is a good girl. She has a strong sense of justice and like she follows the rules. And I'm very similar to that. So it wasn't really hard to kind of sit and prepare for Tiffany um as a character as a whole. Like sure there were moments, there were scenes where I had to kind of prepare for loss, prepare for anger. You know, those were scenes that were challenging that I really enjoyed. And there were some. I had my very first fight scene with Bloody Summer Camp that I adored. I didn't know that I loved the physicality of doing a fight scene before Bloody Summer Camp, and now I'm like, yo, can we just like write in one real quick? Can I like punch this dude? Like, come on. So that was kind of like a moment, a ha ha moment for me. But for the most part, Tiffany is similar to myself. Because I don't I don't like breaking rules. I like following rules. I like doing what I'm told.
Uh,
You know, that's me as a person. I'm like, oh no, we can't slightly cross this line. That's naughty.
uh, so with Bloody Summer Camp, when you were filming it, what was it like being on that set and with that cast and crew?
Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome. It was really cool because it was like my first big project,
Yeah,
and it was incredible to be cast in such a big project, especially as a lead. Um, I didn't actually realize I was a lead because I didn't get the script till like went to the script reading. They said, "Hey, yeah, you're Tiffany," and I was like, "Cool, yeah, yeah, yeah." This is some side character or whatever. And as we're driving, and a friend of mine was actually he played my other part for my audition, and he was like he got a role as well, and he goes, "You're the main character," and I was like, "No, I'm not." No. And I read the script and I was like, "Oh, that's nice," you know. I had no idea, and I was like, "Wow, this is incredible," and it was it was amazing to be on set every day with people who like wanted to make the project happen because we started filming right before COVID. We'd
yeah,
only filmed a couple of scenes before COVID. So we really like it wasn't just, we were told to come out. We had to, that was a dedication within the crew, within the cast to make this incredible project. And we are so happy. It took so long. We've because we were shooting over 2 years pretty much
yeah.
with all the COVID lockdowns and everything. And when it finally came out, it was it felt like such an accomplishment. And I am so proud of Slasher 15 and everything and our Slasher 15 family, our cast and crew of Bloody Summer Camp and all we accomplished then and all they have accomplished since. They are an absolutely incredible group. Really phenomenal.
All right. Uh, so would you consider yourself in the makings of being a scream queen? Because you've been in quite a few horror films.
So I was actually talking to a good friend of mine, Chris O'Brockie. Um, he works with Fuzzy Monkeys a lot, and I was like, I'm a self-proclaimed scream queen, and I was like, I feel kind of guilty about that, but like, I'm a soprano. I've got a great scream, and I do a lot of screaming. And he's like, "No, honey, you're a scream queen." And I was like, "If you say it, it's true. Okay, it's fine." So yeah, I feel like I'm a scream queen, and I'm happy. Like I will actually like sign emails, scream queen. But like, if people think I'm just an up and coming scream queen, I'm cool with that too. And
Well,
it's awesome. That's a
uh,
great goal.
uh, I'm a big horror fan. I love horror movies. My wife, not
Mhm.
so much. Uh, she will hear me watching some of these movies, and when she heard me watching Killer Camp Out 2. Sorry. Like I said, it's
Yeah,
been one day. And there were scenes in that movie. She was like, what the hell's going on down there? I was like, hey, I'm watching a good horror movie. These people are putting out, great content. They're hitting their marks like they're supposed to hit. My eyes,
yeah.
you're a scream queen.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, there's my validation.
But no, it's when I see, like people putting in their heart and soul into films, it kind of makes me as a fan appreciate them more so
Yeah.
than the movie, if that makes sense.
hmm Yeah, because you can absolutely see the if your actor doesn't feel like they're in it, you can see it, you know. So it's like even if the script isn't the greatest, which I haven't had any of those problems, but luckily, but it's like if you can make it. The actor makes the script, you know. They
Uh,
can. They can.
yeah.
They can.
Uh,
Not That's not a generalization, but they can.
all right. But you don't do just horror. You do comedy, and you got your
hmm
hand in a lot of different genres, which is always good because you don't want to be typecasted. You know.
I mean, I wouldn't mind being typecast, but at the same time, I want to I want to challenge myself as an actor. You know, I want to do different things. I love being the final girl. You know, I love that. That's fun. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind turning around being the villain. I wouldn't mind turning around and, you know, being the comedic relief in a comedy movie or, you know, being the quirky aunt, you know, or you know, I like to choose I'm down for pretty much almost any role, almost. I do
Yeah.
have my own restrictions on roles, but
Uh,
it's not the kind of roles, it's what the role calls for that is the restriction.
uh, let's talk about One of One. You play
Mhm.
Vicky.
Yes.
Uh, so going from Bloody Summer Camp to One of One, what was that
Mhm.
like?
Well, I also filmed Killer Camp Out too in the middle of that. Like I
Okay.
filmed, yeah, I went from Tiffany to in BSC, and then I think because I think I filmed Killer Camp Out and One of One within a year of each other. Um, so it was really interesting to go from this strong, angry role of Carolyn, where I got to exude a temper, to like a very driven um, individual who's creative and yet a bit practical. You know, when her sister's the opposite, you know. Um, this creative with a dream, you know, and again, Vicky was a role that I didn't really have to stretch to play because I think I'm hilarious and she's very much like me in, she has these dreams and
Uh,
she's willing to go for them.
uh, I when I was watching it, I was like, I knew it wasn't a horror movie, so I'm weird. Like if I'm watching a horror movie, my mindset horror, blood, gore, all that good stuff. When I'm
Hmm.
watching something else and I'm used to seeing people in horror movies, I'm like, all right, now I got to take myself out of that. But
Yeah.
watching one of one, it was like there were certain parts of every single character that just made sense, and kind of like I was like, I know somebody exactly like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Absurd Productions is really great at making realistic characters.
uh, so playing Vicky, what was
Hmm.
the number one takeaway on a positive note that you would say was from that film?
Oh my gosh. I honestly cannot pick one, but it was my first film with Absurd Productions um with that group, and I was like, well, I know who I'd love to work with again, no problem. They're honestly phenomenal, phenomenal folks, and they they're so great to work with. It's the vibe on set is so relax and be yourself, and there's moments to laugh and enjoy. And if it's like if there's ever a need for, okay, bring it back in, it's literally just that, like, oh, all right, let's go, you guys ready? It's not like, okay guys, we need to focus, you know and they're so great with producing great flicks of so many different genres and different kinds of stories. What they make is so different. And also just the people, and they're so welcoming and kind, and it's amazing. I love them. I love them. I love Mark and Donna. Love you.
uh,
Yeah.
so Killer Camp Out 2. You play
Yes.
Carolyn.
Yes.
Uh, you are co-star with some very talented people in this movie that I've interviewed already. But
Absolutely.
the chemistry between your character and Justin's character was like a character of itself.
Oh, he's gonna love to hear that. We
I
love
mean,
that.
it was like, you kind of you made it seem like it was going to be one thing. Then
Hmm.
at that twist at the end, I was like, you didn't see that coming. But
Hmm.
you kind of your character, and correct me if I'm wrong, your character kind of had like the arc of damsel in distress a little bit, going into self-awareness, going into, well, now I'm Linda Hamilton,
Yeah.
or I'm gonna kick the turn.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that was a really great transition to play, because we know she's tough because she's going to a camp where, like, everybody has anger management issues. We know she's kind of a badass going in. And then, like, she has moments of vulnerability where it's like, who do we trust? And she trusts the wrong person. Spoilers. But and then she's like, okay, well, now who's gonna help me get out of this? And then she just says, well, I just guess I'll just save myself, But and Justin and I really bonded very quickly. I mean, the whole cast bonded. It helped that when we were filming the majority of um the project, we were all like living together. So
Yeah,
I think that really helped. And so the chemistry that you're seeing with the cast, it's real, and like I know you're gonna meet up with Tim later
yeah.
this month, and Tim and um we were just there's three of us where it's like, oh no, we're like twins, and then I met Tim, and I was like, oh no, we're twins, and then they were like, oh no, we're twins, so like we're twinplets, like Kristen and Tim and I were like twinplets, and then of course I had Shonda from Bloody Summer Camp, and like, and Justin, I had seen his other flicks and other characters, so it was really great to like meet him. But then Justin and I really bonded, and we had very, very similar creative mindsets. So him and I really bonded, and we've been playing like love interests for like the last couple of years now.
Uh,
Every other project we do, and we don't hate it. It's fine.
oh yeah.
It's fine.
Uh,
He's
well,
amazing.
I know that talking with Justin and well, actually, Melissa actually brought it up, and then she said to ask Justin. So, toward the end of the film, you guys did some stuff that wasn't in the script.
Yes.
It was
Um, yeah. Yeah, I remember that. So like we kind of as we were filming and like kind of blocking out the scene, that penultimate scene, we just kind of felt like the the characters just like the story was supposed to go somewhere that the script didn't take it. So we're like, I mean, we could just bring it up to Brad because Brad Twigg is an amazing director. Not only is he amazing, but he's also very receptive to um like suggestion. So he very much allows the characters to take form um within a certain point. But so we're just like, I was like, well, we could just tell him, and he goes, or we could just not tell him and just do it. And so I was like, that sounds really great. Let's just see where the scene takes us, our characters, you know?
yeah.
And so in that scene, spoiler, um we kind of like we our characters got really, really close. And then he just he just kissed me. And I was just like, and I think half the reason that we were talking about it is because he felt his character that's what it was gonna do.
Yeah.
And he was like, is it okay? I was like, yeah, it's fine. And so, like, that happened in a scene as we were shooting, and everybody was just like, wait, what? That's not in the script. And so, like, that we kept it in because it worked well,
Oh
you
yeah.
know? And that's just kind of like the intuition that if that happens with our characters, Brad's like, yep, we like that, you
Oh
know?
yeah. Uh, so was there a specific scene in that film, whether it be yours or someone else's, that kind of stands out to you that makes you think that made you know that this was going to be a hit?
Well, I mean, honestly, being a part of it, it was really cool to watch everybody's performances, and then also seeing the special effects. I think the first night on set, we blew up an outhouse the first night on set. And I was like, oh no, this is real. Okay. And I was like, that's intense. That's insane. And it was just really, really cool. And then I saw the the costume and the getup for Jean Blackwell, and I was like, I and it's amazing. And that I couldn't pinpoint one scene, but like that penultimate scene in the barn, it took us so long, like so long to film, and but it was so worth it
All right.
because we worked so hard and everybody just was absolute troopers, cast crew alike. And so I knew that when everybody was putting their heart and soul into it, that it was going to be great.
All right. Uh, would you say that Killer Campout Part Two is kind of like an homage to characters from certain movies? Because I mean, it seems like every single character played something that kind of simulated from another movie of the same genre. Like I kind of picked up a little bit of Friday the 13th. Kind of picked
Okay.
actually I picked up a lot of Friday the 13th, but I also picked up a little bit of like Halloween with the whole stalking issue and everything like that.
Yeah.
Would you say
Yeah.
that that's a fair assessment?
I would say that a lot of, especially indie horror, um, has a an equation of events or like a Star Wars film. A Star Wars film, you have to have like a bar scene and such to make it, and space and light speed in order to make it a Star Wars movie. So it's an equation. It has to have with indie horror, you have to have gore, boobs, and if you want to show your boobs, cool, 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 cool. It's not me, but cool, cool, cool. And like, but there's an equation to a successful indie horror film,
Yeah.
and a lot of it is gore and maybe a little bit of just similar characters that and tropes that we've enjoyed seeing in the past.
Oh yeah. Uh, let's talk about Brad for a second. Brad Twig. His directing style seems to be more precise. Of like, this is what he wants, but he gives you guys freedom to do what you want. Would you say that's fair?
He has an idea and he's willing to collab. Um, but if the collab doesn't fit with either the script, the vision, he goes, "That was great. We're still gonna try it this way again." And that's what's great with Brad is he will allow you, he'll let you try it that way.
Yeah.
He's not like, "No, I don't like that off the bat," if you make a suggestion. Which I mean, and Brad's just awesome. He has great vision to begin with,
Yeah.
and the fact that like he is so willing to collab with everybody and so willing to give his actors freedom. It's very, very cool to see his wonderful vision. He's brilliant.
All
He's
right.
brilliant. Love Brad.
Uh, do you do you see yourself maybe after you've done X amount of films, maybe you directing or writing a movie?
So I do actually have some ideas in the works. Um, I've wanted to start like doing like I have a YouTube channel for because I stream video games. Not well, but that's what's funny. Um, but I want to add to that. I want to write. I've written some shorts, and I want to write kind of like short scenes for reels for myself and my friends,
Yeah.
and write and direct those and all that jazz. And so that because every time as indie actors, we don't always get content for reels. It's very difficult to do. So everybody's like, "Where can I see you? What can I see you?" And I was like, "Well, why don't I just create a channel where you can just direct them to it, and cast all my friends and myself, and you tell me what roles you want to play, and I'll write it for you."
Yeah. That makes sense.
So that's
Uh,
my dream.
we got about 9 minutes left. Let's talk about a couple more movies here. You have Blood and Breakfast, which you play Elizabeth, and I
Yes.
believe that's on the movie circuit right now, right?
Yes, right. I'm not sure where it's going to be showing, like what streaming services yet, but they typically do Tubi and such, so I assume it's going to be on Tubi eventually.
Yeah. Uh, so how's your character in that in Blood and Breakfast? How's your character kind of, without spoiling anything, uh, play into the movie?
So, it kind of made a realization of its own while we were there because it was written one way and I played it that way, but at the same time I added a little bit of my own spunk. Like it's bed and breakfast, there's a mystery going on, blood, and my character is kind of like a true crime sleuth.
Okay.
That's kind of the element that I added. So,
Oh,
which was
that's the
really fun, and they really liked it. So I was like, yeah. So yeah,
all right. And I am so sorry for getting your characters mixed up earlier. So
that's
Bobby
okay.
is a character you
Yes,
play in these things.
yes.
If you can go a little bit into that again without spoiling anything, and how
So,
your character plays that.
yes, Bobby is kind of like the sexy character, the kind of loose morals character, but she has a good heart, which I really liked. It was a nice little element to that. And I also have Justin as my other partner for that, which is great. And Bobby was a lot of fun to play. There's a really great special effects bit to that I cannot share. But yeah, she was great. She was fun.
All right. One more thing, because I believe there is an Indiegogo that started fairly
Today.
recently. Yep, Black Sheep.
Yes, Black Sheep Indiegogo dropped today. And I also am an associate producer as well as an actor.
Okay.
Um, so definitely go and support that Indiegogo for Black Sheep. Um, we're trying to get 100 backers within the first day, so
All
$2.
right. uh, so I don't want to give no synopsis on that one just yet because the Indiegogo just started today.
Yep.
But I do want to give you the opportunity right now to plug all your socials and where people can see your movies and stuff like that. So,
Yes, and I wrote that down. So the couple things I'd like to mention. We're still doing an Indiegogo for my project Heartbreaker. Unfortunately, we lost half the footage in a file transfer, so we've got to do some reshoots and some rewrites. So that Indiegogo is still live. I play Brooke, kind of like a punk character. She's awesome. So please go support that. Um, one of One is on Tubi. Killer Campout is on Amazon Prime. Bloody Summer Camp's on Tubi, Amazon Prime, Vudu, Apple TV. Um, and then my socials, you can follow me on on sorry, um, Instagram, K Surfs Roxy. That's also my Twitch name as a gamer. And if you're into watching gamers on YouTube, I also have a YouTube Surfing Seaster Games. It's surfing and then Seaster, like Seaster. And right now I'm promoting my friend's game called Synth Race that he developed, and it's so great. It's like a parkour game meets Mario Kart.
damn.
So it's yeah, and there's like the full game drops on the 21st, and you can race like 12 people or do solo time trials, and there's like 16 different levels. I've played the full version and it is so cool. It has like a Tron aesthetic. So definitely
Okay.
check out Synth Race on Steam. The demo's out now for free.
All right. All right. We have about 3.5 minutes.
Cool.
What would you say so far in your career has been like just some two of your favorite moments? Because I know you
Mm,
probably get a lot.
I do. I do. Probably so during Bloody Summer Camp, they gave us separate scripts so that we wouldn't spoil it. And um, so I'm not going to spoil it for the audience, for those who haven't seen it, but the real killer was not revealed to us, but it was revealed to Dave Sheridan. So right before we shot the ending scene, he looks up and he goes, and that's why this kid went crazy. And I'm like, wait, what? And, and Jamie Wise was like, Dave, she didn't know. She wasn't in on it. So it was pretty much just him and a couple people, and then like the actor who played the killer, the real killer. And I was like, oh. And so they pulled me aside. It's like, you can't tell anybody. I was like, I won't. So I got to sit in the theater and watch Shonda's reaction right next to me. That was really cool. That was really cool. and of course working with Felissa. But I think another one of my favorite, there's so many favorites. But another one of my favorite moments is being able to work with Beatrice Bupple. Amazing. I love her. She's like she was, like you're my kid's age. And I was like, yeah, you're like my mom's age, but it's fine. We could be siblings. Like we had to work it out to where like we were siblings, but like I love um like Freddy Krueger and Nightmare on Elm. I love those movies. So it was really, really cool to get to work with her. She's amazing. And Nancy Ritter. I finally got to meet her after doing two projects with her. Got to meet her in person.
uh, got a question for you before we go.
Mhm.
Nightmare on Elm Street. Which one is your favorite one?
Oh, I think Dreamscape.
I like part three, Dream Warriors. Yeah, that's
Yeah. Dream Warriors,
yeah. No,
Dreamscape, sorry.
oh no, I've actually met a lot of the cast from that one, and I'm like, shocked because
Yeah.
they all had different stories. I'm like, hey, I'm a fan.
I mean I did get after Bloody Summer Camp I got cast in a Nightmare on Elm project and I got cast as Alice later and it was Dreamscape. It was called Dreamscape and that project ended up going forward without its cast.
uh,
They ended up recasting everybody and rewriting it and doing all that without telling us. But it's fine. So that's why I said Dreamscape instead of Dream Warriors. But yeah.
you're good. Uh, okay, you have been a complete pleasure. You've been a complete kick-ass person guest on the show, and I
Oh,
appreciate you.
thank you. It's so great to finally like virtually meet you.
There you go. It's been my honor.
No, thank you. And it's great. Anytime you need a co-host or anything, I'm always willing.
Hey, I'm gonna take you up on that. Don't think I won't.
I'm happy to. But it was so great talking with you and all everybody out there. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Till next time, stay NC-17.